Ronnie Moran and Malcolm Crosby. What price would you have got against these two men leading out the cup final teams when the competition started? Ronnie Moran, 43 years at Anfield, standing in today for Graham Souness. And Malcolm Crosby, only appointed manager permanently a week ago, and he took over at the turn of the year as caretaker. It's a fabulous reception again. Teams will take the customary line-up for the anthems and to be presented to the royal guests. Now then, where is Mr. Souness going to go? That's been one of the great quiz questions of the last 24 hours. And he's come out last. And looks as though he's going to be somewhere on or near the bench to me. Are you surprised by the decision to come down here by Souness?
Well, I think you'd just be as tense if you were sitting watching it on television, and I'm not surprised he's here. As long as the doctor said definitely no, he's given him the option and he's here.
Also here, their Royal Highnesses the Duke and Duchess of Kent. And there have been already references made to the fact that they were here when Sunderland last won the Cup. But I've also heard little whispers that the Duchess is a Liverpool supporter, so that should even that up. And here come the royal party in preparation for the national anthem and the presentations. Sir Bert Millichip, the FA chairman, just shepherding the Duke of Kent across to the Liverpool captain Mark Wright, and a chat first of all with Bruce Grobbelaar. Good week this for English football, with the announcement that the European Championships are coming here in '96. Graham Kelly there, the chief executive of the FA, will be delighted about that. In fact, he was talking to Bob Wilson earlier. And Her Royal Highness just going down the line of Liverpool players, talking to Steve Nicol. Of course, Nicol and Grobbelaar have been here, what, 3 previous FA Cup finals. It's not new to them. Jan Molby there, who played against Everton here so well in '86. And what a day for Ronnie Moran. And not sure whether he's going to get changed into his tracksuit. He said he might do, Brian Clough style, when he gets to the bench. But there'll be lots of people in the game pleased for him today. Mark Wright in his first season with Liverpool, having assumed the captaincy. And now the royal party taken across to meet the underdogs from 2nd Division Sunderland. And it's the moment many of these Sunderland players have been looking forward to, and many didn't ever dream they would partake in this. Paul Bracewell doing the introductions. Don't know if you can spot any tense faces down there, Trevor. Are they giving anything away, do you think?
I think by now you've soaked it all up. The worst thing is being in the tunnel waiting for the signal. Then they didn't linger long, did they? They came out the dressing room, almost kept walking and went straight out. And once you're there now, one or two of the players would have looked up trying to spot their wives and friends and family, and now looking forward, I'm sure, to the kickoff.
Just want to mention the two linesmen there with the fairer hair, Rob Harris of Oxford, just talking there to the Duke, and John Hilditch of Stoke-on-Trent is the other linesman. And the reserve official is Kelvin Morton of Bury St Edmunds, and that's Philip Don, the referee, who is just introducing his colleagues. And now the royal party will be escorted up to the front row of the box in true Wembley protocol, and at last the players will get a chance to stretch their legs. And as the roar goes up, we shall check once again on how they line up. Liverpool, no Ronnie Whelan and no John Barnes. At number 10, 20-year-old Steve McManaman, the youngest man in the match, returns after his injury in the semi-final 5 weeks ago. And it's interesting to hear earlier the fact that Dean Saunders, I think one of the Liverpool players was telling Ray Stubbs on the pitch, Dean Saunders plays at Wembley for the first time. Their top scorer, of course, and the two substitutes, Mark Walters and Mike Marsh. As for Sunderland, as you've heard already, no doubt, Gary Hours wears the number 2 shirt in place of the injured John Kay. A place at number 6 for David Rush, who won't be 21 until next week. The unlucky man in the squad, really, Paul Hardiman, having played in every cup tie, he's now a substitute. And Rush, Hardiman, Rogan, Ball and Hawke, I think, are all new to Wembley, so there's perhaps a little less experience on the big occasion, as they would be from a second division side for Sunderland. Well, Mr. Brooking, who are going to be the key players?
Well, I think if you look at Liverpool first, and the one person I have to pick out being midfield as well is Jan Molby. I love watching him. His flair and his touch and his vision is supreme for me in the Football League. And if he is on song, if Sunderland do allow him that space to feed Saunders and Rush, then I think it's going to be Liverpool's day. But they haven't got a ball winner in the midfield, Liverpool. We've got, Houghton's alongside him. Of course, he's not a winner, McManaman, and of course Michael Thomas making the forward run. So there's no ball winner, so they've got to make sure they don't give it away, that man doesn't very often. Then, of course, this young man, what a season he's had. Looked as if he was going to miss the final. And I think a lot of responsibility, the fact John Barnes isn't fit, he's come into the side ahead of Mark Walters, and he's going to have to provide that individual flair, take defenders on. He's going to start off on the left. I sometimes think he's better on the right, but he's definitely going to be an exciting man to watch. Then quickly just on to the Sunderland, Tony Norman. I mean, if they are going to cause an upset, he has to play as he has in the previous rounds. He's a very bubbly character like Bruce Grobbelaar, and I think he's got an important part to play. And then finally, of course, the newcomer into the side, Gary Hours. Can he recover from his long time out? I'm sure he's going to have an important part in the game as well.
So, Sunderland in white shirts will start this 111th FA Cup final. I mentioned their lack of Wembley experience. 6 of their team did take part in the playoffs here 2 years ago against Swindon. And as we've said so often at moments like this, it all depends on what happens on the day, and we're off. Here's Nicol now. This is Thomas. Here's Burrows. Has played a few games in the central defence in this second half of the season, so he's found right. And this is Rob Jones. Thomas. First touch here for Brian Atkinson, number 11 in the midfield for Sunderland. Now it's Rush. Number 8 is Davenport, but Rush was fouled. 5, Anton Rogan. And again. Burrows header out, that's John Byrne, and it was deflected off his own player. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, David Burrows. I think perhaps sometimes centre-back, when he's asked to do a marking job, might be his best position, because his distribution at times there, he just gets a half header that Byrne sort of doesn't quite catch, and he hits Davenport, goes off with a goal kick. But I think his distribution at times lets him down when he gets forward at left back, and Stevie Nichol's so good getting down that line, supporting McManaman. I'm sure that's the reason. And of course, Nichol did play there in the semi-final, didn't he? The second game against Portsmouth.
Good challenge by Rogan there. He wasn't fazed by a little dummy from Dean Saunders, the Sunderland left back. Here's Michael Thomas for Liverpool. Gary Bennett comes in to meet the ball first. Looks for Davenport. Mark Wright across. Important match for Mark Wright this. Just obviously in terms of the leadership of Liverpool, but also Graham Taylor hoping that he reports for duty tomorrow. Here's Burrows. Ian Rush. Two Rushes on the pitch, of course. Ian of Liverpool and David of Sunderland. And here is that very man. Mulby, Nichol. Swung wide by Mulby, beautifully to Ray Houghton, number 8. Michael Thomas, a forward run in space. Michael Thomas shoots, holds his head for skying it, but Tony Norman was very quick to his feet.
Typical Liverpool move with it. Ray Houghton comes inside on his right foot so well, just flicks it with the outside of his foot. Thomas making that deep run and tries to lift it over Norman because he's so close to him, spread himself well and lifted it over the crossbar.
Michael Thomas, who played here for Arsenal against Spurs in the FA Cup semi-final last season and was disappointed, but he did get the winner against Aston Villa this year in the 6th round. So Tony Norman, fast off his line. Burrows covering behind Wright. Nichol, McManaman, starting on the left, where Barnes would have been. Rush, David Rush. Offside, Davenport. Mulvey. Ian Rush. Thomas. This is Byrne. It was Atkinson who broke it up to start with, and then it was Bennett who collided with the referee and has put them in trouble. Saunders taking on Rogan and Armstrong for Sunderland after Mr. Don got an inadvertent touch. Here's Paul Bracewell, Byrne to his left. Armstrong. Houghton for Liverpool. Jones. This is Burrows. Good tackle by Rogan, he started well. This is Byrne. Davenport in the centre, Rogan outside him. Still Johnny Byrne.
He got it on target, but there's Anton Rogan giving a shout across because he was a spare man. A little reverse ball would have left him clear, and I think it was a wasted opportunity.
Here's McManaman. Nichol up on the left for Liverpool. Takes on David Rush. Thomas. Nichol. Deep one. Oh, it took Armstrong to clear it. Corner to Liverpool. Saunders will take it. Mark Wright is trotting up. McManaman and Rush in the 6-yard box. Here comes Wright. It's come out to Thomas. In support here, Nichol. And now Mulby. Nichol again. And Wright still in there. And so was Rush.
Tony Norman's had a couple of good early saves. He held on to that one well, but it's a very bright, open start to the game. We've had chances both ends. This one, Mark Wright staying in there, heads it back down, and look at Ian Rush make up the ground. Good half volley, but fortunately for Sunderland, straight out Norman.
This is a promising opening, this, by both teams. Thomas, Saunders, Houghton. Saunders starts a run further forward, and this is Nicol to Molby. There he is. Foul. Gary Bennett. So a brisk 7 minutes here. The weather now damp and overcast, but it's not raining. McManaman to Nicol. Saunders, a darting run, pursued by Bennett and two others. Hours. Oof. Straight to Mark Wright. Molby, measured touch. Rob Jones. Grobbelaar's there, but it's blocked off now. Oh, it's a good piece of play by the potential England right back. It was Rogan forward again for Sunderland. Interesting to hear Grobbelaar on the pitch before the game saying to Ray Stubbs that he was more nervous than he's been for a big game in years. It just went to prove that this is important in more ways than one for Liverpool. If they were not to win the Cup, they wouldn't be in Europe, which for them is almost unthinkable. Here's McManaman. David Rush. Davenport, Gary Hours sprinting up on the right-hand side. They've got two in there. This is Hours. He found the position superbly.
Well, he got great lungs. He gets up and down the pitch, whether midfield or fullback. Superb ball by Davenport. Now, he's got so much time. If he just looked up beyond it, look at the far post there, Armstrong. I mean, that was a nothing ball. It wasn't a cross or a shot. He could have just floated it to the far post. We could have had an opening goal.
Absolutely. It's Hours not unfamiliar with the right-back role. Indeed, this is Houghton for Liverpool for the moment. The former Sunderland manager, Dennis Smith, told me a long time ago he thought Hours might make an England right-back one day. Then he went and played in midfield for a while, and now he's in the right-back slot.
But that's possibly the way Sunderland could score goals against Liverpool, soaking up a bit of pressure and then running deep from midfield, where a lot of people say at times Liverpool are a little bit flat and square, and if you can just time the runs deep, as ours did on that occasion, you can get behind the Liverpool defence.
Davenport trying to find David Rush. And this is Molby. Well, that's a raking ball, looking for Ian Rush, but Gary Bennett got there. Michael Thomas following up. Saunders. Anton Rogan. Jones found Saunders there. Rush in the middle, making a run now. Saunders tried to curl it. It's come back to Houghton and now to Molby. Liverpool making the play. McManaman, Saunders, up on the left, Steve Nicol. It goes to him via David Rush. Still Nicol. Deflection on the cross corner.
A magnificent pass out of defence by Rob Jones to set Saunders clear. When he came inside, his first shot blocked. At the moment, not quite being able to get his sights on the target.
Oh, it's Rush waiting there. McManaman is in front of him, in fact, and Saunders behind him. But it's been played right back for Ray Houghton. And now Molby. Liverpool using the full width of the pitch here. Michael Thomas. Houghton. Ooh, Rush nearly made it. McManaman there. And Sunderland scramble the ball away with Bracewell. How long for? Right. Oh, what a good little ball by Molby. Jones. Houghton. They are playing it around confidently at the moment. Here's Thomas. That wasn't so good. Gave Rogan the chance to clear.
Well, Molby's had a superb opening, hasn't he? Can't remember him giving a pass away, and I mean they're not just easy, no chance balls. He's spraying it all over the place, positive through balls, and I mean when I say players like a good early touch, he's had about a dozen.
That's right. I don't know who's going to have to try and shut him down. Bracewell perhaps in that midfield area. Anyway, for the moment, Liverpool have got the edge. They've also got a free kick, which Ray Houghton is placing. And here comes Rush. Dropping into the hands of his former schoolmate, Tony Norman.
The problem of who's to pick Michael Thomas up, Bracewell as the more of the anchor man would be the obvious one, but I think they're worried about his pace, so they've got Ryan Atkinson actually picking up Thomas, and Atkinson is the one for Sunderland who gets forward normally, and of course when he's having to work back defensively, at the moment they're having a problem getting the support to the strikers.
Well, that was an interception by Gordon Armstrong from Rob Jones. Davenport's on the far side. This is Byrne. Davenport making a run now. Byrne plays it wide again. Armstrong wasn't quite ready for it. Byrne remonstrates with Armstrong for that. This is Rogan now. Davenport holds it up well usually. Rogan. Oh, a skidder. Bruce Grobbelaar from Anton Rogan. And Grobbelaar may have collided with the post.
Yeah, he's just hit the back of his head there. Got a lovely left foot, Rogan. This one just bounces nastily, and you can see the thud there. That's a nasty whack. Mentioned that Bruce Grobbelaar was a bit nervous beforehand. I mean, it's an important game for Liverpool, but particularly for Bruce Grobbelaar as well, because there has been questions about whether they're looking at a goalkeeper, and he knows he needs an important game like this, a big match.
Short to Byrne. It's Kevin Ball at the back there. Byrne! Oh, he was onside, and what a good chance for the man who scored in every round. Liverpool were sleeping a bit, weren't they?
Well, it was a half clearance. Everyone challenges, and a great header comes back across, and normally John Byrne would compose himself, even control it, and then pick his spot. He just snatched at it. That's what Wembley does for you.
I also think the skiddy pitch played a part in that, Trevor. A Liverpool defender fell over. The man, in fact, who should have been covering Byrne, I suspect. It was Kevin Ball, wasn't it, who knocked it back across?
Great header, but wonderful opportunity. You don't get many clearer chances than that.
Will they get another one as good as that one, wonders? Here's Michael Thomas for Liverpool. Houghton. A lot of movement here. Thomas is well forward. Often said, isn't it, the best way to score against Liverpool is from a set play. And thinks of the free kick here. Wimbledon in '88, and from that corner, they were certainly troubled. Sunderland supporters thought then that they might be going into the lead. Free kick to Sunderland. Quarter of an hour gone, and it's been an eventful opening here. Gary Hours to take the free kick. Aimed at Armstrong, it got there. Byrne's in there again. Grobbelaar punches. David Rush couldn't get his foot round it. Bit of a tangle. Rogan. Armstrong flicks it on. Oh, that's a foul, surely. Anton Rogan didn't have to do that, really, because the ball was running quite kindly for Sunderland.
It wasn't the most subtlest of challenges that I've seen, but I mean, Sunderland have come and grown in confidence, haven't they? After a couple of chances for Liverpool early on, they must be encouraged, and they've definitely had the best one so far, and at present, very even Steven.
Yeah, it could have been 2-2, couldn't it, already? Offside flags up. Not sure what those last Sunderland attacks did for the nerves of Souness and company, but still, it's Bennett who takes the free kick. And it's now a Liverpool free kick. This is Burrows. Showing a bit of that to John Byrne, but oh, then Nichols slips. No doubt that the surface of the pitch, as it was saturated this morning by that prolonged rain, is causing the players some discomfort here and there. This is Byrne. David Rush joining him. Still Byrne. Hours to take the throw. Armstrong trotting towards him now. There's Armstrong. There's Davenport away by right. And then half away by Molby. Oh, it's gone wide off Mark Wright. The shot was by Bracewell, and the deflection could have gone anywhere to Grobbelaar's relief. It flew off Wright's foot, I think it was Wright, and went past the post. Yes, look at that. Grobbelaar was going the other way. It's a corner. Ball is up again. Bracewell, of all people, he hasn't scored for 2 years, and he nearly put his side ahead.
I think he was shocked to get a pass like that from Jan Molby in the penalty area. We said how well Molby had done, and suddenly, instead of hooking it away to safety, he tried to lay the ball off to Rob Jones and set up the scoring opportunity.
Michael Thomas at the other end. Armstrong. Liverpool throw. Jones. Houghton. Aimed at Thomas. Away by David Rush. Very relieved, Mark Wright. Houghton. Only as far as Rogan. Oh, it's well played by Dean Saunders. Ian Rush couldn't flick it through to McManaman, who was going to his right. Also good play by Bracewell, and a lovely through ball. John Byrne slipped Mark Wright, but good cover by Burrows.
He was unlucky there, John, but he couldn't let it run because it would have skidded through to Grobbelaar, and just his first touch then allowed Burrows to get the tackle in.
It's left Byrne hobbling and rubbing his thigh rather gingerly. This is Rogan. Davenport. He's turned right as Davenport. Oh, Atkinson! Liverpool are leading a charmed life in there, Trevor, aren't they?
Davenport did terrific. It was almost as if everyone stopped. They thought there'd been a whistle or something, and Davenport toe-ended it, and Atkinson couldn't quite get the shot. But as you say, they're just about submitted at the moment, and Sunderland had a great 10-15 minutes, haven't they?
They have, but they've got to be careful now. It's a free kick. It's McManaman, back to Molby, 20 minutes gone. Thomas for Liverpool, no score, but there might have been. And Bracewell and Bennett sorting things out. I think it was Jimmy Hill who was saying this is not the Liverpool of 2 years ago. Well, certainly defensively they haven't looked anything like their self-assured style up to now. And Sunderland forced the issue again with a free kick. Armstrong, the player who was fouled. Kevin Ball seems to be lining up something. They're, what, 30 yards out here. And it's going to come to Rogan.
His standing foot just gave way, didn't he, when he hit his shot. But I think Liverpool, when they don't have Ronnie Whelan as an anchorman in midfield and they play sort of 4 technical or attack-minded midfield players, they are always vulnerable to the counter-attack, and that's why I think we're getting such an open game.
Well, it must have done Sunderland's confidence an awful lot of good, the way the first 20 minutes has gone. There's certainly gaps there to be exploited. Forward by Burrows. Bennett lets it run. Burrows with Byrne. Forward by Atkinson. Byrne again. Armstrong trying to find David Rush on the far side. Here he is. Following up was Atkinson, who gets around the pitch very well indeed. A busy little player is Brian Atkinson, 21 years old. Molby helping it on, but into no real advantageous place for Liverpool. And Mr. Souness sitting right at the front of the bench, living every kick, I would think. And here's a mistake by Rogan, and it's gone to Rush. Following up here is Houghton. It's Rush again. And still, and here's Thomas. Didn't quite make it. Oh, but hang on. The free kick's been given anyway for a foul on Atkinson. It was Bracewell who went down at the end, but it was Thomas who fouled Atkinson earlier.
It was a foul, but again, a defender, that occasion it was Anton Rogan getting himself in trouble just when his standing foot slipped on the surface, and Ian Rush not quite able to capitalise.
Yes, McManaman of course played on the right, didn't he, at Highbury for much of the first semi-final. Here's Mark Wright. Bracewell's put it through to Byrne. Burrows with the header out to Molby. And as the sun threatens to come out, Saunders challenges Gary Bennett. McManaman's backing him up here. Nicol. It's Atkinson who cleared from McManaman, and he now throws it to Nicol. Saunders a darting run again, but may have been backing into Bennett there. Was Bracewell, then Atkinson, then David Rush, offside Davenport. Jones to Thomas, good touch. Houghton joining in and getting forward well. Benny's across, can't go back. And he's wasted it. Jones. Ian Rush, McManaman. Nicol backing up.
Well, McManaman, he has been out a month, and on those occasions, I think if it had been on the right, he might have had a go at creating a shooting chance for himself, and that occasion he knocked it back quite a long way to Steve Nicol. Not easy on this top then to hit it when it's coming across you, and it was a pretty bad slice, wasn't it?
Oh, Molby missed out there. This is Atkinson. Burns offside. Taken quickly. Ray Houghton. Rush comes to the right. Molby. Saunders starts his run now and then loses his balance, and Molby couldn't get the ball through. Good cover by Sunderland, pressing up. Bracewell there on Molby. Forward by Jones. Armstrong's header, and then Bracewell got it down nicely, and a good pass. Byrne. And still. He was saying in his interview with Tony Gubba that if he got into a position where he could have a shot and there was somebody better to pass to, he would pass, but on the 2 occasions so far he's had a shot.
I didn't think he had much choice there. He bundled his way through more than anything, but Rob Jones blocked the shot across the goal, and he dragged it to the near post and the side netting.
Thomas, Saunders, the space to the right, Houghton. And now it's McManaman. Houghton again, Jones moves up here. Mulby, Rush, good turn, couldn't get past Bennett.
Did well there, Gary Bennett, didn't he? Because Ian Rush is so deadly in those tight situations, but Bennett stuck very close to him, made sure he wasn't able to turn and get a half chance, and at the moment he's being well marked.
Byrne to David Rush. Gary Hours starts to go down the right wing now. In the middle, Davenport going near... Well, he's found 2 good positions, Gary Hours, but he'll be unhappy with what he did when he got there.
I'm not sure which was the worst. I mean, neither of them were at all close, were they? He had plenty of space. Just needs to compose himself. I don't think on that occasion either he looked up. I mean, just to slow down and just compose yourself and pick out somebody or whip it in, but almost as if he just carried it on full pelt and whipped it in, and it sliced off the outside of his foot. Possibly, of course, he's not used in recent weeks to playing in that role, finding himself out wide.
On by David Rush to Davenport. Byrne in the centre, comes off Nicol. Here's Hours. Header out is by Wright. Foul by Hours on McManaman. We've been playing half an hour in the 1992 FA Cup final here at Wembley. It's Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0. But there have been openings and opportunities, particularly for Sunderland. Here's Saunders now trying to create one for Liverpool. Nicol, McManaman. Well, a corner's been given. Or is it a free kick? Because the referee signals that Hours held McManaman back. And that's what it is. And Jan Molby from here sets it up. The drive. Don't think the players in the penalty area really appreciated the fact that that was pulled back to Ray Houghton, because Jan Molby would have usually picked a spot somewhere nearer to goal than that.
I don't think the Sunderland supporters appreciate the free kick in the first place either. To me, it didn't look a foul. I think Stephen just overrun it, so perhaps just as well the ball didn't end up in the net.
Yes, it was a tricky one, that, wasn't it? Anyway, nothing's come of it. Sunderland are back in the Liverpool half. They now have a free kick. And we'll see what happens at the other end. Sunderland supporters giving it all they've got. Hours to take it. Armstrong's there. So is Grobbelaar.
He's won a few balls in the air, actually, Armstrong. quite tall for a wide midfield player, but I'm not sure in the Liverpool defence who should be picking him up, but he's the one, and Rob Jones is a few inches shorter than him and struggling to compete.
Here's Houghton. Mulvey. Saunders. Oh, it wasn't a good touch though. Bennett. Some of the fluency that you used to take for granted in Liverpool's game really isn't there these days. This is Jones. They do still have the threat of Ian Rush up front. It's Saunders now to McManaman. Play on, says referee Don. Mulvey. Here's Ian Rush. And now McManaman, and wide on the left is Steve Nicol. And Hours read which way he was going to go. Houghton. And here's Jones to Houghton. In it goes to Ian Rush, tries to knock it off to Dean Saunders. Nicol is out left again. David Rush is the Sunderland player making it difficult. Mulvey making it look easy. Houghton chipped in, but nowhere in particular. We haven't had a goal at Wembley, but there has been one at Hampden Park in the Scottish Cup final. Rangers lead Airdrieonians by 1-0. The scorer is Mark Haitley. Rangers, the previous club, of course, of Graham Souness. Here's Bracewell for Sunderland.
After a bright opening 20 minutes, the last 10's just gone a little bit flat, a few more misplaced passes, and as the game's sort of developing into a bit of a midfield stalemate, we just need one of the forwards now to start timing his runs and getting hold of the ball and doing something a bit extra.
That was a forward pass from Kevin Ball to Peter Davenport. John Byrne has gone to the left, but there was nobody to Davenport's right. Yes, the atmosphere a little subdued just at present. It will just take one moment of drama to change all that. Here's Mulvey. And Bracewell won the tackle. Byrne picked up the loose ball. They want support now. David Rush making strides on the right-hand side, number 6. Davenport goes into the centre, joined now by Byrne. Atkinson. Wide towards Armstrong. Rob Jones. Ten minutes left in the first half of this FA Cup final. McManaman picks it up for Liverpool and finds Nicol. So predominantly right-footed on that left-hand side, but anyway, he's found McManaman again. Now we have got sunshine at Wembley after a most unpromising start to Cup final day, where it bucketed down in London all morning. Here's Houghton. McManaman, 2 waiting, and he didn't find either.
Well, it was a good little dinky ball by Ray Houghton, wasn't it, with his left foot. He doesn't often use that. McManaman with his left foot, but he whipped it across, and interestingly enough, both Saunders and Rush had pulled back out for the pullback, and I suppose it does bring back the question, because Rush has been injured so much this season, as to whether that pairing is the ideal one. I can remember early on when we were doing a game saying, do you think they can work together? I have my doubts, because they are both finishers. They tend to make the same runs, and neither of them actually has an individual ability to go past defenders, and that's been shown up in this opening, 30 minutes.
Well, Sunderland have sent Kevin Ball and Gary Bennett forward for this free kick from Anton Rogan. Up goes Armstrong. Bennett's in there with Wright. Jones the back header. Houghton needs to get this away for Liverpool, and he will. To Molby, at Scarfy's heels. Bracewell. It's all a bit untidy at the moment, isn't it? But that through ball by Jones finds Saunders. Hours having to come across from right back to cover. Saunders shoots first time, and it was a good effort.
Great ball from Rob Jones, but that's Saunders at his best, playing up there by himself almost, and being able to make those darting runs. That's one of the few occasions when he has been pushed right up, because often he's been working behind Rush.
Now here's Rush himself. Houghton. Nicol. McManaman. Thomas. Oh, well played by Jones. McManaman!
Terrific play by that young man again, Rob Jones. I'm looking forward to seeing how he copes with the European Championship, because he does look exciting, doesn't he? Going forward, whipped in. I wonder whether Tony Norman felt it could have come for that, because it's a header on the 6-yard box and McManaman couldn't quite keep it down.
Got the Liverpool supporters in a good mood. Forward by Houghton to Thomas. Bit of a tough and rough and tumble there on the edge of the area. It was not intentional. Thomas helping Atkinson to his feet. They've done some work on this pitch since the Rugby League Cup final last Saturday, that's for sure. It's a header by Mark Wright, and here's Rogan. Byrne, Armstrong, Davenport goes down the left here and gets a corner off Mark Wright. Well, it was a corner that brought Sunderland that famous goal in '73, wasn't it, at this end? What would they give for one now? Armstrong goes onto the line. Ball comes in behind him. Flicked on, and Saunders to clear. There have been some anxious times in that Liverpool penalty area, Trevor, haven't there? The defenders are pointing at each other now.
Well, particularly on crosses. I mean, always felt that it's not the ideal for them high balls, but I'm surprised how vulnerable they have been today on a day like this.
That was a good ball by Molby out of defence to Ian Rush. They've got players joining in now, Liverpool, all across the line. Nicol, McManaman. Doesn't get past David Rush, who's had a good little game there in the first half, mainly covering in front of the fullback. We have 5 minutes left until half-time. Nicol for Liverpool. Saunders! Houghton now.
Good cross from Steve Nicol. Dean Saunders' first one blocked, and Nicol getting forward down that line. He used his left foot on that occasion. You mentioned without John Barnes there isn't a sort of natural left footer. For me, definitely McManaman more than anyone is struggling playing over in there. I do feel a swap between Houghton and McManaman might prove more profitable with him down the right-hand side, where he has a natural shimmy to go outside a fullback.
They might well be discussing that in the dressing room at half-time, Trevor. Anyway, for the time being, it's Ray Houghton on the ball. Thomas. 8 passes so far in this Liverpool move. Hasn't got them very far forward yet. Here's McManaman. Molby. Forward towards Ian Rush, headed out by Kevin Ball. And David Rush's clearance only picks out Rob Jones. Thomas, Houghton. Burrows. Ball was out. Nicholl seemed to slip as he went for it. Come off the heels of Jones to Byrne. And Rush is joining up here for Sunderland, and here's Davenport. Shot strikes David Burrows. Well, you think how Liverpool stretched and strained to beat the likes of Bristol Rovers and then Ipswich and then Portsmouth. 3 second division sides have taken them all the way in this FA Cup competition this season. And the signs in the first half are that Sunderland will make it possibly as difficult for them. Just a couple of minutes left in the half, 0-0 here at Wembley. Not able to take teams apart quite like the Liverpool of old. Is that fair, Mr. Brooking?
Well, definitely. I mean, they've had little spells, haven't they, this season, but not with the consistency that they used to for several seasons. And I think Sunderland will be more and more confident as the half has gone on, because they have matched them. I thought the first 10 minutes Liverpool started well, looked very confident, but gradually Sunderland came into the game. They've had the best chance through John Byrne, undoubtedly, and they must feel that they're very much in with the chance of getting into Europe, of course, themselves.
Yes, the European Cup Winners' Cup, a prize for the winners today. And here's an opportunity for Liverpool to lay some claim just before half-time. A free kick, quickly taken. McManaman the outlet. And he's skipped down on the right-hand side. He's got inside. And it's still McManaman. Oh, brought down by Bracewell, was he? No. Liverpool can't believe it. They're going to Philip Don. And they must have felt on the bench that was a possible penalty offence. It's Jones. It bears out Trevor Brooking's point about McManaman switching sides, I ought to say, because the minute he did, it was effective. But as the controversy goes on, Sunderland break with Davenport. Byrne. Davenport. Through by Atkinson. What did you think about that?
Well, amazingly, McManaman's gone back over to the left, and if ever he's got this shimmy, look, he just goes outside, shapes to centre, comes inside, then he just gets clipped on his heel. There's no, you couldn't see it from that angle. He caught his standing foot. It was definitely a penalty. As he slid in, Bracewell just blocked it. He got his standing foot and clipped him down. Definitely a penalty.
Well, my co-commentator in no doubt about that, but the referee didn't give it. And here's Saunders in stoppage time at the end of the first half.
I think the problem is the linesman is this side as well, so he would have been blocked off from the view, a bit like we saw on the television there. The referee's over the other side of the penalty area, and they couldn't have seen just the clip on the back foot, but he was definitely a foul, and it was a lucky let-off for Sunderland.
Meantime, Liverpool with McManaman back on the left. And the referee brings the first half to a close. I'm just going to watch referee Don walk off here in case any of the Liverpool party decide to remonstrate with him. But it was certainly one of the points of the first half which will cause discussion. Ray Houghton, I think, probably had a word as they went across. Well, he did have a word, there's no doubt about that. There's no score in this cup final. Sunderland certainly held their own, perhaps more than held their own. They had chances, didn't take them. Final ball wasn't right. Byrne missed a couple. But then Liverpool came towards the end and we had that shout for a penalty. We shall see, obviously, what Desmond's team of all talents think about that in the studio. But from the commentary box, the news is, at half-time in the cup final, it's Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0, and Mr. Souness in deep conversation. activity in the players' tunnel. The Liverpool team already out, Sunderland just joining them now. A reminder of the substitutes in case they're used in the second half. Liverpool have Mark Walters and Mike Marsh in reserve, and Sunderland have Paul Hardiman and Warren Hawke. Do you foresee any significant change of tactics on either side in this second half, Trevor?
Well, the only one, of course, with Liverpool, I would like to see from their point of view is perhaps McManaman on the right. But from Sunderland point of view, I think really they've got better and more confident if now their confidence grows and they start getting more men forward and as we've said, make better use of the final ball themselves. You know, chances, I'm sure, I should be surprised if we stay goalless myself.
Just may as well throw in our two penneth about this penalty award, Trevor. The only thing I would have said, in fairness to referee Don, is if it wasn't an intentional foul, then the referee is entitled not to give it, but you would probably take the Alan Hansen view on that.
Yeah, I think any player looking at that and seeing the ball a yard or so ahead of the player when his standing foot's being clipped has got to say, well, it'd be a penalty. If it was given against my side, I would have accepted it, and I think most Sunderland players, if they're asked afterwards, would have said that at the time their instinct said, oh, we were lucky to get away with it.
Well, we do get lots of letters from referees throughout the season, and I often mention this word intent in the law, so we'll leave it there for now. I think it's had a good bashing. Let's get on with the second half. It's Armstrong for Sunderland. Johnny Byrne just inside now. Mark Wright stretches. This is Byrne. And he's forced a corner in the opening seconds. And Brian Atkinson will go across to take it. And they were practicing these in training yesterday morning from that side with Anton Rogan, number 5, and Kevin Ball, number 3, joining the players in the penalty area. In fact, it's going to be probably Armstrong on the actual post. Ball up with Grobbelaar. Bracewell now, and that's David Rush. And here comes Grobbelaar to meet Davenport. And he rolls it out almost casually, but it's not casual because it puts Liverpool with Houghton into a more offensive position. Now it's Molby. Knocked out wide to McManaman, who is indeed starting on the right-hand side this time. Takes on Atkinson, gets past him, and flips it into Michael Thomas. Thomas's shot! Oh, that's a fine goal! The second half, Liverpool have taken the lead in the cup final, and McManaman, who Trevor Brookings said would do more damage on the right than on the left, got the ball in, and Michael Thomas swung his right foot, and that goes down as one of the best cup final goals. Beautifully delivered, and what about this?
Great finish. We criticised Michael Thomas a bit, the fact he lifted the ball over Tony Norman and the goal early on, but that was still only a half chance. Good play by being able to jig both ways on his natural foot, and it opened up the Sunderland defence, but a wonderful finish, and Michael Thomas coming late, unmarked again, but a super strike into the far corner, and now Sunderland will have to push more men forward from midfield.
That's really opened it up, hasn't it? What a start to the second half. Liverpool made that switch just before half-time. It was because McManaman came to the right we had all the furore about the possible penalty. And now Malcolm Crosby's defence caught out by him again. And you'll see from this side of the pitch how he first of all got past Brian Atkinson. Then his ability to come inside, a lovely little flip of the ball. There's Thomas, that's a volley, and you couldn't see it placed better, could you?
And the fact was there were 4 Sunderland players drawn to him. That's why Michael Thomas found himself spare. Just his ability to go past defenders attracts more to give the cover, and suddenly it opens up behind him.
And the game has opened up, with the rain starting to fall again now to make the pitch even more greasy, which could lead to some eventful stuff in the penalty areas. It's 1-0 to Liverpool. And they're now in a position that they were never in the semi-final against Portsmouth. They're in the lead. We've got an absolute downpour now. Molby Houghton. Now Nicol, oh, the space there, Saunders, Ian Rush, Saunders, Rush through the middle, McManaman calling far side, off Gary Bennett. Tony Norman flung himself at that shot from Thomas. Do you think he got half a finger on it or not?
Well, he probably only got half a finger left if he did, because he did hit it very well, didn't he? I mean, it was a good strike on his favoured right foot, Michael Thomas. Sometimes it's weird with him. He scores the harder chances and sometimes spurns the easier ones, but a wonderful goal to score in a cup final.
Bracewell for Sunderland, cut out by Wright. Yes, we should make the point, it was Michael Thomas who missed the first-minute chance, wasn't it, when he hooked the ball over the bar from close in, but my goodness, he's made up for it now and they're thrilled. Nicol. That's a good pass. Dean Saunders pulling away, finding gaps on the left now here for Liverpool. Rain sheeting down. Molby. That's Jones. And again McManaman beats his man. And again. And forces the corner. This is where it's being won at the moment, isn't it?
He's got that natural body that takes him outside the fullback, and of course when that's your natural foot to the right, then you should be over that side. On his left foot he kept coming inside and getting blocked off through the middle.
Houghton. There's the cross, rushes up for it. This is a good test of Sunderland's resolve now, this next 10 minutes. Will they buckle, or will they draw on the spirit that's seen them through this cup run and find a way back into the final? It promises to be a good second half here. This is Thomas, the goal scorer. Molby. Right. Jones. Working it out right again to McManaman. Thomas. Molby to his left if he needs him. Molby still wants it here. Burrows, that's a measured ball. Dean Saunders. Ian Rush comes in, headed away by Anton Rogan, corner.
Another good run by Dean Saunders, and beautiful chip, got underneath it perfectly to the far post, and good defending to get it away, but they mustn't concede a second goal during these next few minutes.
Quickly taken corner on the far side. Rush away only as far as Molby. Molby shot! Oh, and tipped over by Tony Norman.
That was a magnificent save, a great shot. I mean, Molby just popped it up in a dipping volley, and it did very well. You can see it was going to just go under the crossbar, but he got his fingertips to it.
Oh, and a bad pass by Steve Nicol has been intercepted by Peter Davenport, and Sunderland have a break on here with John Byrne down the right-hand side. They need people in the middle quickly. It's still Byrne. Free kick, is it? Well, Mark Wright's was the challenge, and Sunderland will get something for sure. It's a free kick to be taken by Atkinson. Armstrong's there.
He's done well, Armstrong, in the air. Not quite sure who should be picking him up, but a number of crosses, he's been the person who's headed it back across goal there, nobody on the end of it. But a bit of breathing space badly needed for Sunderland, who definitely have been knocked out of their stride.
Molby parading his passing ability in midfield again here. This is Houghton now. In fact, Molby wants it every time in the centre circle there. Bennett comes to meet Saunders and beats Molby. Well played by Gary Bennett. Byrne. Referee, a good decision. Just waited half a second, but he had to give the free kick. ours to take it. Michael Thomas, the goal scorer, man whose goal for Arsenal once deprived Liverpool of the League Championship on a memorable night at Anfield. Liverpool fans will be rather happier with the one he's got today. Forward by Jones. This is Rush. Rain again gives way to sunshine. It's Thomas once more. McManaman. Jones. Well, I think the England centre-half and Liverpool captain put that one right in the half, and they got a taste of the action. Rumours that the Duke of Kent headed the ball on to Bert Millerchip have been denied. It's back on the pitch, and Liverpool lead 1-0. Greyhound now operating on the left after the switch involving himself and McManaman. This is Burrows still at centre-back. On the knee of Ian Rush, well controlled. McManaman will keep that in. It's a real test out there now for Anton Rogan, number 5. Jones, McManaman, bit of pushing and shoving. In fact, Bracewell on Jones in the end was the offender. So here's Mulby again. McManaman, that was a foul. Armstrong. To make the point as well, Trevor, didn't we, that McManaman, when he went off at Highbury, you know, what was it, 5 weeks tomorrow against Portsmouth, he looked to be out for the season, didn't he? I mean, that was said to be quite a serious injury. Well, knee problems are so unpredictable, and on that occasion, steady there, Graham, dear, oh dear. Unpredictable, and when you get a problem, and they thought it was ligament damage, then he would have been, but it wasn't as serious when they had, and of course with the arthroscopes, they could do surgery so well now in the recovery period, whereas they used to have to open you up more. You can get back that much quicker, and his exciting skills were badly needed, because without Barnes there was no one else who could go past defenders, and he's doing that now, isn't he? Yeah, I'm just wondering what Mulby's going to do with this free kick. Chipped up, away from right, it's come to Nicol. Well, floated, worked on the training ground, that one. Just knocked back a bit tight and got tucked underneath Steve Nicol. And again, having to hit it with his right foot and slicing it. He's had 2 or 3 of those today, hasn't he? Atkinson for Sunderland. That's a foul. Wright climbing over Byrne. And they looked for the quick one, but it wasn't on according to Bracewell. This is ours. Well played. Bracewell from Byrne. Well, Kevin Ball went up for the free kick, and if Liverpool were to break now, they're 1 short, Sunderland at the back, but he's made the strides to get there, and he has in fact just regained his position. They'll have to take more and more chances, Sunderland, especially by throwing up Bennett and Ball for the set pieces. Here's Rogan. They are a goal behind. And that wasn't a good pass. Thomas in the way. Here he is again. Saunders to the right, starts a run. McManaman, oh! Well, he's given offside. I tell you what, we're nearly level with that, and that was very tight.
Well, it was more than tight. It wasn't offside. Gary Bennett over this side, the tall number 4, hadn't stepped up and And the important thing is when the ball is played, not when actually your eye line reaches where it's going to. And there's no question when the ball was played, he was playing them onside.
Yes, it was Bennett who did. Davenport. Mulby. Saunders and McManaman. Mulby again. That's more like the Liverpool we've come to know and expect. 4 or 5 neat little passes, and there's space all of a sudden with Nicol. Houghton. Now what's on here? Sunderland has shaped up in front of the ball. That's a little bit erratic by Gary Bennett on Saunders, and the ball through to Rush. And a miss kick now by Bennett. He really lost the place for a few seconds there. Nicol. Saunders, a good touch to Rush. Thomas is going through the middle. It's Ian Rush with the strike. Comes off Kevin Ball.
Good touch by Saunders, wasn't it? I think he's had an improved showing in the second half there. It was a good little touch to Rush. Didn't quite hit the shot well there.
We've been playing for an hour in this cup final, and Davenport, if he turned then onto a flick from Byrne, would have been in for a shot on goal. He just lost his balance. Nobody fouled him. So an hour gone, Liverpool 1, Sunderland 0. Michael Thomas the scorer in the 47th minute. Steve Nicol finding Mark Wright. Armstrong threw himself into that a bit. McManaman. Mulby. Nicol. It is ours. Oh, Burrows let it go, and Byrne could be in here. Foul. John Byrne fuming because he would have been away. David Burrows, who's had his moments with referees this season. He's had a lot of yellow cards, and referee Philip Don has decided this is going to be another one.
He went for the ball, having let it run. He did initially, I think, get perhaps contact just before John Byrne. John Byrne then tumbled over, but he's got himself booked perhaps a bit harshly, but he was going away anyway, Byrne out wide, so there was no question of a red card.
Armstrong and Ball are waiting on the far side for this free kick from Gary Hours. Rogan is there as well. Armstrong saying exactly where he wants it placed and starts his run now. Bennett got half a flick on it and seemed to take it away from Armstrong. Now it's McManaman. Ian Rush. Surrounded by 3 opponents. Rogan. And Rob Jones can get away here. In fact, they've got a man over. It's Rush on the ball. Houghton joins him, Saunders to the left. Sunderland scampering back now. Saunders cross, it's going to go to McManaman. It's been set up for Jones, has it? Not quite. Bracewell able to intercept and find Byrne. Byrne holding it up, waiting for support. Davenport now for Sunderland. Good tackle, Mark Wright. And Mulby tries to put Saunders through with one searching pass. Bennett read it. Hours. David Rush makes a run down the right-hand side. Flicked on by Davenport. Here's Byrne. Jones tries to ward him off. Bracewell.
Trying to just create an opening, but at the moment, sitting here, you just can't see quite where Sunderland are going to do that, because their midfield players are taking so long to get up to support, because they're coming back to all get goal side. And I think at some stage, Malcolm Crosby's got to release 1 or 2 of those so that Davenport and Byrne are not having to sort of almost work as a partnership against 4 defenders, and that's what's happening at the moment. They're just getting crowded out.
Liverpool back in possession with Thomas. Mulby again. Oof, it was Hours who slipped, so Houghton couldn't quite take advantage. David Rush starts a run now. There he is again, Rush. That was Atkinson. Byrne. Uh-oh, it's a free kick again. Mark Wright on John Byrne. Mark Wright's given away a couple, hasn't he, in that position?
He's had an excellent game, though, Mark Wright, being outstanding at the heart of the defence. It looks to be a bit of activity on the bench for Sunderland as well. I think possibly a change is at the right time now.
Armstrong up for this, and here comes Grobbelaar with Bennett, but the referee's already given him a free kick. 20 minutes gone in the second half, and as Grobbelaar clears, there is no doubt that there's going to be some sort of change by Sunderland. And McManaman, in the meantime, sets off for Liverpool. He's got Dean Saunders going outside him now. And he's still going outside, and there's Ian Rush going in. Hours. Right. Sun in the eyes a bit there. This is Mulby for Liverpool. Up to Saunders. Coming in round the back was Kevin Ball, penalised. Houghton. This is Nicol. Saunders against the bar. So close to 2-0 for Dean Saunders, the top scorer.
He deserved a goal because he's played very well in the second half. He's helped sort of step up the Liverpool play going forward.
Nichols cross this time. Tony Norman can come for this. And that might have been curtains for Sunderland if that had been a foot lower. Instead, it's Byrne with a chance to develop something for them. Davenport, there was nobody to his right. He had a quick look. I don't know where David Rush is. I think he's probably run out of steam. Here's Houghton. Saunders. Thomas through the middle again. Michael Thomas. Rush. 2-0 Liverpool. So simple and vintage Ian Rush. 68 minutes gone and Liverpool go 2 goals clear in the cup final. And there's nobody that loves the Wembley scene better than Ian Rush.
Saunders again involved. Unselfish play from Thomas, and there Ian Rush, either side to choose from, tucked it away. Saunders running at the defence. Michael Thomas, another of those surging runs, could have been selfish. Saw Rush there, and at 2-0 now, although Sunderland are going to make their substitution, I can't see them getting back into this a typical Liverpool move, and that's the way to finish. You don't have to burst the net, pick the spot.
While Ian Rush celebrates, David Rush has gone off, and Paul Hardiman has come on wearing number 12 for Sunderland, who find themselves 2 goals down. A little bit of cup final trivia for you too there. Ian Rush, 2 goals here in 86, 2 in 89. That's his 5th goal in an FA Cup final, and it beats Stan Mortenson's record of 4, the most since the cup final came to Wembley. But it means that with 38 goals in the FA Cup now, overall Ian Rush still wants 3 more to equal Dennis Law's all-time record. More importantly, Liverpool Liverpool lead by 2 goals to 0 and seem to have taken a grip on the game. John Byrne bundled over. Bracewell. Well, what an opportunity Liverpool have here to end the season on a high note and clinch a place in Europe. It will take a fabulous reply by Sunderland, something beyond anything they've achieved in this memorable cup run, to find a way back here at Wembley, and he should be feeling a little happier. Trevor Brooking was making there about not having to break the back of the net. I remember Bill Nicholson always used to say about Jimmy Greaves, he passed the ball into the corner of the net. Well, that's what Ian Rush did then. And for Malcolm Crosby, the signs are not good at this stage. Saunders, Thomas. Sunderland would have to score twice in the next 20 minutes to force extra time now that Liverpool have gone too clear. Jones. Albee. Oh, and Rush combining here, first with Houghton, now with Dean Saunders. Flags up. Saunders penalised. Saunders, of course, hit the bar, didn't he, just before that second goal, so Liverpool perhaps had earned it.
Well, it's been continuous, Liverpool, hasn't it, since the restart. Paul Hardiman coming on, of course, now. Normally a left-back for most of the season, playing wide on the right. I thought perhaps he might slot into a full-back position and Gary Howe's push into midfield, because they're lacking that sort of support to the 2 strikers. Poor Brian Atkinson has been involved defensively. He's normally the one who would get forward and support, and that's why they've never had the numbers up there to threaten Liverpool, particularly in the second half.
That's right. I have seen... oh, it's Rush away, and Tony Norman comes out, and here's Ray Houghton trying to knock it back from 45 yards, and Norman's in trouble here. And he's... Oh. Well, he saw the funny side of it. Ray Houghton attempting something there, rather like Pele. Or should we say Chris Waddle, who tried it in the last World Cup, didn't he? Amazing.
Well, it's great thinking, Tony Norman. And there's first touch, didn't even stop it. It's certainly a wedge, isn't it, that height, and didn't get the backspin on the green he wanted, and he's bounced over the crossbar. But exciting bit of play, and it's good to see Tony Norman still able to smile after it.
Before all the Arsenal supporters right in, Anders Limpard did that the other week, didn't he? And he found the net too, I believe. Anyway, that's history again. 2-0. Could have been 3. Liverpool supporters jubilant. Sunderland subdued. Armstrong looks for Davenport. Michael Thomas involved defensively now. Bracewell. So Michael Thomas involved in both goals, Trevor, really.
That's why Graham Souness bought him. I mean, Steve McMahon did that sort of surging run through midfield for a few seasons, and then he's moved on now to Manchester City. Liverpool, the way they play, they need to have somebody running through midfield. And of course, if you've got Jan Molby as an anchorman to find him, he's the ideal person to make the runs.
Well, McManaman on the ball now, has Saunders just inside him here. Saunders shot, and Tony Norman rocking on his heels turns it over from Dean Saunders as Liverpool start to enjoy themselves. Saunders picked this one up, what, 20 yards out, and Norman was advanced and had to spread himself backwards. Nickel. Molby. Saunders. Nickel. Saunders, no. Thomas. Away from Byrne. McManaman out on the right wing. Tried to backheel it to Thomas and lost it. Davenport found Rogan. He found Byrne. Molby just stretching to prevent the ball. He has that way about him, Jan Molby. You think he's a little bit leisurely, but my goodness, he's influential and seems to play in a private little world in the centre circle and dictate it from there. Here's Rush. Houghton. That's another one of his passes. Effortlessly pushed out to McManaman. Sunderland tiring a bit, do you think, Trevor?
Well, they're a bit tired, not surprisingly, but also they'll feel even worse because Liverpool are just knocking 1-2 touch, and when you haven't touched the ball for about a dozen passes, your body begins to feel heavier, and Liverpool are gradually wearing them down.
Houghton. This is Rush. Oh, space opened up a little bit for him there. It's still Rush. McManaman goes inside. Rush again. And Sunderland just glad to get it away. There are 15 minutes left. It's 2-0 to Liverpool. I think we shall see the second Sunderland substitute in action very shortly. Saunders, good turn. Thomas, Mark Wright, leading the team today with a calm authority. McManaman with youthful zest. Three waiting in the centre. Oh, I think by now Rogan's learned the way that McManaman's trying to go, and Sunderland have a break on here. It's Armstrong to Byrne. Rogan again. But Michael Thomas read that also. Thomas, Saunders starts to run now, pursued by Bennett. And Bennett quite happy to let the ball run. Now then, we're going to see a change again by Sunderland. Warren Hawke is coming on, and Gordon Armstrong, number 9, goes off. Hawke, number 14, the 21-year-old Durham lad, who can play either centre-forward or wide in the attack. And I think this is where Hardiman will go to a more familiar side of the field, Trevor.
Well, he's naturally left-footed, so I think he'll be happier left-side midfield. And what an occasion for Warren Hawke then, coming on in a cup final. Even though it's 2-0 down, I'm sure he won't forget this and come out wide on the right-hand side of midfield.
Yes, there's some good young players at Sunderland. Not all of them have taken part in this cup escapade, but players who Malcolm Crosby will be building on next season. For the moment, it's Nicol for Liverpool to Rush. Here's Hawke. Nicol. Houghton was checked there. Desmond Lynam made the point earlier that in the last, 11 cup finals, 8 have gone to extra time. Well, it doesn't look as though this one will at the moment, unless I'm tempting fate. Liverpool with a 2-0 lead. Molby. And again, and he's found McManaman. McManaman's just got that edge on the defenders, hasn't he, each time. It's forced a corner. Played here at Wembley, I think, for the England under-19s when he was virtually unknown in league circles. But in this first season, McManaman, who, till he was injured in the semi-final, had played nearly every game for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think he and Rob Jones could well figure as the right flank of England on a few occasions here at Wembley in the next few seasons.
That's quite a thought. I might dwell on that in a minute. McManaman again. Thomas. Molby. Nicol. Challenged by Rogan. Here's Saunders. Thomas. Molby. Rush starts a movement in the penalty area. It's come out to McManaman. Liverpool with plenty of players up here. McManaman, another one of those twisting runs. What I was going to ask you there was, do you think it would be too late for McManaman to get himself on the fringe of the European Championship squad this time round?
Well, it's come through today extremely well when you think what one reserve game at Nottingham Forest in the midweek. I think a lot depends on John Barnes, what happens now in the next few days with him, because he would be an automatic choice in the 20, but if he doesn't make it, then McManaman could well make a late surge.
That's just what I was thinking. He's just coming inside now to find Molby. Nicol. Hours had to stretch. There was an offside. Graham Taylor did say earlier in the season that often before major championships, somebody comes in with a surprise bid for a place right at the last. You can take that one back right to 1966, really, and you never know. It's another week and a bit before the 20 will be announced. Meantime, it's Warren Hawke for Sunderland. 10 minutes left. 2-0 to Liverpool. Sunderland on the attack. Burrows. Nicol. Out. Thomas. Understand that Airdrieonians have got a goal back in the Scottish Cup final, but it's Rogan for Sunderland. Can they get one back? Smith, the scorer for Airdrie after Haitley and McCoist had scored for Rangers. It's 2-1 up there. Rather closer, it would seem, for Rangers than it is for Liverpool. Soon as his old club, Rangers. Walter Smith, who he was up there with, is now the manager. They haven't won the Scottish Cup for 11 years. Ian Rush. Oh, very good little back heel that was. And then Thomas with an instant pass to McManaman, who's got Hardiman to beat here this time, the substitute. Now it's Thomas. Liverpool just striking it around at the moment. Saunders. Oops. Right forward well. Molby. Thomas. Jones. Gary Bennett coming into the back of Ian Rush. Liverpool take the free kick quickly. Any way back for Sunderland, Mr. Brooking?
No, I don't think so. At present, a little bit shell-shocked, I think, more than anything. But that tackle from Gary Bennett summing up. They hadn't had a touch for about a minute and a half. And Liverpool, as I say, possession football, almost like a keep ball. And at present, Sunderland, when you're not getting touches like that, I can't see them even scoring.
It's Houghton at the moment to Molby. Cross to Jones. They're all getting a touch now, aren't they? McManaman's out on the right again. Jones. That's a good little turn by Dean Saunders. He's got Michael Thomas in a good position again here in the box. But Warren Hawke nips in. Free kick's given. Thomas, bit of shoving, I think, back there. I did mention 1966 a few minutes ago, I'm not quite sure why, but anyway, there's the man who did it all then, Sir Alf Ramsey in the white raincoat. Nice to see him here. And I understand that one of Sunderland's goal scorers in the 1937 Cup final, we just got a glimpse of there. Gurney scored for Sunderland in 1937, and he was pictured there. I don't think Rach Carter's here, who actually captained them. Bob Gurney. And the whistle's gone back on the pitch in 1992. '37 and '73, the two great years for Sunderland. This doesn't look as if it's going to be a great one in '92, not in terms of lifting the trophy. There are, in fact, 5 minutes left as Michael Thomas appeals for handball against Anton Rogan. And Sunderland really have just played in fits and starts in this second half. They've been overpowered, and Mr. Grobbelaar decides he'll help them out a little bit, having been fairly bored for the last half hour. Caused the titter among the crowd. Here's Byrne. Right. Oh, that wasn't a very good pass. Rogan. Ball is well forward in the attack here for Sunderland. Burrows heads out. Houghton waits for it to come down. Mulby. We ought to say at this stage, in case we don't have a chance to say so again, what a good spirit the match has been played in. Just one slightly aggressive moment from Burrows, but not malicious. And the referee in calm control, Philip Don. There'll be a few things, obviously, to argue about, as we have already, regarding that one incident with the possible penalty, but I think he's had a good match. And the teams have made it easy for him, really. This is Houghton. Mulby. And Liverpool getting a bit casual. It's been almost too easy for them this last 20 minutes, Trevor.
Well, there's a tendency to sit back now, isn't there, which is what they've done on the 2-0 lead. And I think they'll be encouraged now with this second half performance, but the manager there, Malcolm Crosby, I'm sure be upset perhaps that they've ended up losing 2-0, but he's got a lot of credit for the cup run. They've done the North East proud, and let's see, perhaps...
Saunders with the shot.
Let's see, perhaps from this run this season, they can build on promotion, perhaps for next year. Graham Souness, though, doesn't need to get too excited in this second half. And Dean Saunders, who I think has had an excellent second 45 minutes for Liverpool. Probably one of the best halves I've seen him have.
Yes, I should think probably a Pepsi Cola and a quiet night in might be better for Mr. Souness tonight than celebrations. But anyway, here's McManaman. He's away again. Rush is waiting in the centre. It's just too long for him. Houghton. Back to Mulby. Thomas. I suppose that brand new FA Cup that we've never seen before will be on its way now to the Royal Box, with what, a couple of minutes left in the final. Liverpool leading 2-0. It'll soon be time to think about presentations. Jones. Thomas is free on the right wing, but Wright didn't find him. Bracewell forward. I think think Sunderland will have to reflect on chances missed very early in the game. Those supporters will look back on the one that John Byrne had particularly and wonder if things might have been different if they'd gone ahead then. But in the second half, from the minute that Thomas scored in the 47th minute, Liverpool exerted a stranglehold on the game that they've never released. And there's now just about a minute left as Michael Thomas, the scorer of that first goal and involved in the second, picks it up again. A candidate maybe for man of the match, but so too is this man, McManaman. Brilliant. Kevin Ball. Very, very tired now, Sunderland. I understand up at Hampden Park, Graham Souness's old club, Rangers, have won the Scottish Cup for the first time in 11 years under Walter Smith. They've beaten the Adrionians 2-1, man of the match, Mark Haitley. Mulvey. Houghton. Stoppage time now, as Gary Bennett tries to force it out, but it's a laborious process when Liverpool are in this mood. It's Mulvey dictating things again. Out to McManaman. Houghton. Thomas. Houghton again. Rush waiting in the centre. Mulvey, but just went across the line.
Yeah, some good performances, as you say, Liverpool, particularly second half, Saunders and Thomas. But my trio, I think, would be Mark Wright at the back, Mulvey in midfield, and McManaman out wide.
Yes, here's Saunders. Tries the bender.
They did everything right, came inside. Bennett just beyond the far post, but has it been unlucky? What hit the woodwork? Good second half though, a lot of movement.
And Liverpool have won the FA Cup in their centenary year and qualify again for Europe. Second Division Sunderland well beaten on the day, but Michael Thomas's goal after 47 minutes, followed by one from Ian Rush after 68 minutes, the difference between the two sides in a match where Liverpool totally dominated the second half. Handshakes all round. Liverpool know how vital this was for them. It was unthinkable for them not to be in Europe, and Graham Souness, only a matter of a month after his open heart surgery, watches his team from the bench win the FA Cup at the end of his first season as the Liverpool manager. Something to show for it after all. Steve McManaman will get rave reviews. Only brought in the side yesterday afternoon because of the injury to John Barnes. I think we've got Graham Souness.
Graham, congratulations. Who was doing the talking at half-time? Because the performance of the Liverpool side in the second half.
In the first half, Sunderland played very well. They were strong. I knew they were going to work hard against us in the early part of the game and then matched us in for inch. They possibly could have had a penalty. We possibly could have had a penalty. They, I thought, shaded it in the first half. But the second half, I thought we played very well.
When the first goal went in, I saw the club doctor put you in a headlock to keep you calm.
He was under strict instructions to keep me calm.
Can you keep calm now?
I did today, so if I can do it here, I can do it anywhere.
Look, congratulations. It's been terrific.
Ray Stubbs there, quick to get the first reaction of Graham Souness, and now the Liverpool team prepare to climb the steps to collect the FA Cup. And Ronnie Moran looks absolutely delighted, and well he might, having kept the club going while the manager's been in hospital. But Sunderland, the losers, will obviously take the first applause of the afternoon. And Paul Bracewell, you have to feel sorry for him, don't you? It's the fourth time he's gone up the Wembley steps to receive a loser's medal at the end of an FA Cup final, and 3 times he's been beaten by Liverpool. But there'll be other disappointed faces there. No reason for Sunderland to feel anything other than satisfied with the contribution they made, though, to the FA Cup as a whole this season. They've done the second division proud, and their job now is to make something of next season. But they'll be remembered, and their supporters will, for some valiant cup performances on the way to Wembley. Not quite good enough on the day is the verdict, as Bracewell leads them forward. Bob Murray there, the Sunderland chairman, leaning forward next to the Duke of Kent as the Sunderland players receive their losers' medals. John Byrne, who couldn't keep his record up, he had one good chance early on, the only round in which he didn't score. But young players here who will have benefited from the experience, and one or two older heads like Peter Davenport, who may perhaps not get a winner's medal after all in their careers, but who certainly experienced an FA Cup final which goes past so many other players. Tony Norman, no chance with the goals really. So Liverpool prepare now to receive the trophy. Mark Wright following in the line of so many other famous Liverpool captains, many of them centre-backs indeed. Ron Yates comes to mind, Emlyn Hughes, Alan Hansen of course in our studio. Midfield player Ronnie Whelan last time. I think Mark Wright really kept his feet there, but he did all afternoon. And in his first season with Liverpool, he finishes up the England centre-half receiving the FA Cup. Liverpool win the FA Cup for the 5th time, and in their centenary year as well. And with a very new-look team compared to those that used to go up those steps. Dean Saunders in his first season. Well, they're sending the cup all the way down the line. Michael Thomas, signed from Arsenal. Ian Rush, of course, is he's got a season ticket here, really. But David Burrow's first cup final. And the young substitute, not used there, Mike Marsh. Mark Walters didn't get on either. Ray Houghton. And, of course, Jan Molby, whose play in midfield was so calm and collected. David Moore's the new chairman there, thrilled to bits, as well he might be. And Liverpool march down the steps into Europe in the European Cup Winners' Cup, and of course they'll be back here for what should be a good Charity Shield match next August against the new First Division champions Leeds United. I don't think you would argue too much, Mr. Brooking, with the outcome today.
No, I thought Sunderland matched Liverpool, as Graham Souness said, very, very well in that first 45 minutes, and at half-time, who would have thought that Liverpool would come out and dominate so convincingly? Early goal made a lot of difference. McManaman playing down the right certainly helped create that Michael Thomas's late run, and after that, once they got ahead, Sunderland were always chasing the game, and there'll be some very tired legs once they get in that Sunderland dressing room, because they were made to chase the ball throughout the second half.
Yes, and just one consolation for Malcolm Crosby, the new manager of Sunderland, who did so well to get his team here. His eldest son, Ian, is a Liverpool supporter, so the Crosby household won't be too downhearted, perhaps. But obviously the Sunderland people will be initially, while Liverpool will go on to a scene of celebration that they know so well. The final score in the 1992 FA Cup final, the new trophy, handed over today for the first time, goes to Liverpool, who beat Sunderland by 2-0.